Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
And welcome to TFT,
Tarot for today. Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
and me, Banshee.
She thinks I'm forgetting to say that.
He is. At least in our videos he is, but that's okay. You know, you're at the right place at the right time. I see some of you have been lining up, some new people.
It's called artistic interpretation.
Okay, I'll accept that maybe. So I thought I'd start the day today with the few of us here as we're waiting for people to come on board. Say hi to everybody. I've got the list as you came into the chat, as I always do. Or at least as I always try to. We're getting kind of close to Chinese New Year, so I think this is not a Chinese New Year tool, but I think I'm going to bring out some of mine that are more Chinese themed for the next couple of live streams. But I thought today, maybe since some people think the Chinese New Year is a little fortuitous, I would draw something about prosperity for us from Colette Baron Reed's dun dun dun, Wisdom of the Oracle. Now, Colette has so many good tools. I really like her stuff. I use a lot of them. But this particular one has messages for various purposes. And there's a prosperity message here. So it's very short. And I'm going to see what we've got for prosperity for us. Oh, my. And it is tick-tock. Looks like time to me. So what number is that on that card? 30. All right, I'm going to read the prosperity message for us. And that is, your prosperity is co-created by your endeavors as they occur in human-made time and the eternal efforts of your most important manifestation, partner spirit, in a divine measureless time. So keep doing what you're doing. Stay positive and make a commitment to remain in high vibration thoughts and feelings. If you heed the message of this card, it will seem as if you will align with your highest calling and your highest good in no time at all. Like magic. So what's all the fuss about not having enough time? The prosperous life that is yours will never pass you by. Woohoo! Good news. Good news for that. So what else do we got here? We have Masonic. I see somebody named Gory D has come. And Max. You will be able to... you want a reading, Max? We'll have to put you on the list. Let's see. Gory D came in first, and then Max. So I'm going to read the list off to everybody so you know where you're at. And I see Sandy has arrived. Hey, Sandy. So here's the list as I have it right now. I have K-Dash first, Josephine, Missiana, Zaria Boss, Masonic, Kristen, Gory D, Max, and Sandy.
Welcome, everybody, again.
Yes, absolutely welcome. We will try to get to everybody. Right now, you're in a good spot because you're here early, so we should be able to get you in.
Thank you to recent new subscribers.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. We are up to 97 subscribers,
Woohoo.
which we think is awesome. I'm doing amazing things on Twitter. Oh, I mean, we are.
It's
Sorry,
mostly you.
It is a lot me, but we've really built up a Twitter audience. We're up to 237 or 236 followers now. So that's been moving along amazingly. And your Facebook is not doing bad either, I think at 108.
Exactly.
Yeah. So thank you all. And we're here to, of course, provide you with some enlightenment. So on with the show.
All right.
Is there any announcements we have to make? Oh, yes, we do. If you haven't seen it yet, we put part 2 of our U.S. prediction for 2020 up, our video, and it was a pretty amazing reading. You were very impressed. You were very impressed.
I was impressed with our reading, and I'm also impressed with the fact that we've gotten some nice comments about it and some views, so that's very good. And I'm noticing some other stuff.
Gory D says the 99th subscriber. Awesome, Gory. Thank you for that.
And of course, we have a fabulous prize for the 100th subscriber. It's us.
It's us.
No, we really
know.
appreciate all the new subscribers
Awesome.
and all our past
Someday,
subscribers.
when we get our acts together, we will have more things available for our subscribers. So be patient with us.
Hi, Violet Ann.
For now, we have free readings for everybody.
All right, so today
Violet Ann. I've got you down.
going to be using two different decks, which both have Egyptian themes. This one I've used before. Here's a card from that. It's the Nefertari's tarot, and it has these nice golden backgrounds that some people really like. It's a nice deck, and then I have another similar but not exactly Egyptian themed deck that's called the Tarot of Transition.
Oh, yeah.
And these
I
have a little
like
bit
that
of gold
deck, too.
gilt or coloring on them too. They tend to be a little bit more plain when it comes to the minor arcana. But what I like about this deck is that it has a unique reading that specifically is for this deck. You could probably try to figure out how to do it with other decks, but it's specifically based on this deck. What's that?
I said I was cutting you off.
You are.
Blah, 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 blah.
But you know what, Banshee? You're good at it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Listen up. Because I've got
Thank
like
you.
3 decks here, okay? So I want to get through them all really quickly in attribute. I'm using the After Tarot again, which is Corinne Kenner and I believe some Low Scarabo people. This is a Llewellyn deck. It's Pietro Aligo and Giulia Francesca Massaglia. I've probably messed up their names terrible. Also today I brought back out my Animal Totem Tarot by Lisa Robertson. I'm sorry, Lisa Robertson and Eugene Smith did the wonderful artwork on here. It's just a gorgeous deck. And I'm back with Ciro Marchetti's Tarot Grand Lux, one of my favorites. Finally, the Lenormand I'll be using today is the Fairy Lenormand, which is also, I think it's a Low Scarabo deck, and it is by M. Katz and Talia Goodwin. So these are the decks of the day, and we're going to get right going, I think.
So I'm looking at the chat, and I'm seeing that Jenna reports she's feeling a lot better, and I know you said you were really ill, so we're happy to hear that.
Got you on the list.
Thank you for everyone else's nice comments.
Yes. So Violet Ann and Jenna, you're at the bottom of the list, and I will update the list in a few moments. Right now, we're going to get to K-Dash.
All right.
And so see what K-Dash's question is for today.
And we're going to start off using my deck then, I guess.
Hey, E.T., welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Gotcha on the list, and I'll go over the list in a little bit. So we're working on K-Dash, the first person in the room today. Oh, you want to go ahead? All right. Well, I'm just warming him up, Mr. O.
In my opinion, the snowstorm K-Dash was a little overplayed, but it was
messy.
It was a little messy, but a little overplayed. There you go.
Some places they did say a lot of places got 7 to 8 inches, but because we also had rain, a lot of that number kind of went down and it got slushy. So it was just a messy day yesterday. A good day to stay home and do our second U.S. prediction video.
Yeah, that's what we did. We ended up recording at around 4, and then we did some little gussying up of it and uploaded it for later in the evening around 9.
Why am I... Oh, do we have... Okay, it's a general reading. Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Yes. Well, this is probably the most snow we've had in a while. I mean, the only other snow we had this big this winter was around Veterans Day, if you could believe that, in November. Crazy weather. This is crazy for us. But we're really feeling the winter today. It's cold.
Okay, so we had 3 cards for this general reading. The first one is the upright Knave of Pentacles. So that's kind of like a Page of Pentacles.
It's very interesting dichotomy here with the 3 and the 2, one upright, one reversed. That you're getting
that is
to.
kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I
So
noticed this. Okay, so this is the second card, which is the 3 of Wands, and it's upright. Nice goldy sheen to that one. And then the following last card is the reversed 2 of Wands.
This almost seem like in direct opposition to each other a little bit
in
here.
some ways, because the cards do tend to have a sort of follow-through between them.
Yeah, and so I would say, obviously here with the Pentacles and the Wands, it seems like focus is going to be on work, a project of some sort that could bring money. There's going to be some good news anyway, some possible good news, but it's tempered by maybe some worries about plans failing. Like maybe you're worried you haven't put out enough effort to see things through. Well, what do you think, Mr. O?
Well, I think that you're looking towards a good experience of trying to move ahead and persevere and study and get ahead on your main goal, which is to, of course, have some good, financial outcome for yourself, to see yourself invested in your project, to see this return coming back to you. But you do have this sort of fear, and I'm putting that more in the idea of something that's in your unconscious. I don't see this as being really tangible just yet, unless possibly you know that there is something risky about your venture. To me, I just sort of feel like maybe to some degree what the feeling here is that by what this plan you're doing is you are sort of maybe giving up a little bit of your control there. So it's like you're moving towards this goal, but part of that goal means that you might have to share some of that control or some of what that ability process is.
Okay, Chris, thanks for letting us know that. I did take Zarya off the list, and so that's one less for everybody, and I'll go over the list in just a minute. I see what you said there. I think that's a good summation, actually. So I don't know. This seems to be working and financial related in some way to me.
Yeah, a little bit. Mm-hmm.
And I feel that that's the focus. But let me see what the Lenormand can add to this. Well, I've got the stork, and I've got the clover, and I have to say, the clover is really a sign of good luck, and you have it with the stork is really about, the stork could be like a change of residence or a change of job, something new coming to you. In a way it kind of mirrors, I think, some of the stuff we're seeing here.
It does.
Yes, it does. And actually, there's a lot of positivity surrounding this. So I wouldn't worry too much. It seems like this is going to be positive for you. It looks like it might involve a change of some sort, something new. Want to add to that, or is that what you pretty much see?
Mostly what I'm feeling there, too, that, right, it does resonate to the idea of a new project you're trying to start or that you're investigating that level of it. But it just seems to be augmented by the idea that there's something lucky about it. And despite what I said about maybe the idea that it's a co-thing, that's maybe just as a minor issue, that if you are partnering with somebody, you may look at some of that as a downside. But I see really some good luck here for that. So I'm hoping that's what holds to be true.
Yep. And that's right now what we have for you, K-Dash.
So thank you for that, and hope
Thanks
that helped.
and hey, you got in right on top this time. That's awesome. So I hope that gives you some idea of what to expect in the I would say the next 2 to 3 months, maybe 1 to 3 months. It's a general reading, so sometimes I feel that these can play out a little bit over time. But you had a lot of wands in that reading, so some of this stuff might happen quicker than that.
I'm going to take a moment to comment with Jenna and others who may be commenting on this, but they're talking about going to cosplay conventions and stuff, and I'm kind of like not especially into that. It's just mostly me, but I do like wearing costumes for other types of events, and I've been known to wear some of the more Egyptian kind of stuff at some events that I've gone to.
Yeah. I just want to acknowledge we have somebody new in our room, Teresa Z. And welcome.
Hi, Teresa.
And we will put you on the list, but of course you're going to be at the bottom of the list now. So I will go over the list in just a moment. Right now we have to get with our next reading, and that is.
And you're welcome, K-Dash.
That is Josephine. Josephine, you are up, and after Josephine will be Miss Yana, and then Masonic, Chris, Gory, Max, Sandy, Violet Ann, Jenna, Esoterics, and Teresa.
Okay, there's our question. So do you want to do that as a yes or no and then augment with the letter?
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Teresa. That's good to know. Thank you,
Oh, hey,
Masonic,
Masonic.
as well.
You're so awesome. Thank you. Such a supporter.
Okay, so I'm going to start shuffling again.
I'm drinking out of my favorite cat cup to show it off.
Is IJB the kind of person who maybe seems to occasionally have bad luck that rubs off on people that they hang around with?
Did you drop a card, Mr. O?
I did, in fact, drop a card. It didn't really drop, it just sort of slightly turned over when I was
Okay.
thinking about those initials, IJB. And that card was the reversed Wheel of Fortune.
Oh.
And so my immediate thought was maybe this is a person that has secular bad luck or attracts bad luck to them through, their actions or their personality or
count
something
them?
like that.
Can I count them?
Yes, you may count them.
There's no cat here. I want to take advantage of having table space.
That's right. Regular viewers know that usually Sunny the cat just sort of spreads out there. Like the cards are spread out, so does Sunny. Isn't lucky either. Okay, so maybe that's what it is. In the sense that, some people can say they have a regular keel to their life and that maybe their life isn't super positive, but it isn't super unlucky or super not lucky.
All right.
That might be what I'm picking up. I don't know.
I have some interesting news for you, Josephine. So we've got two aces. This is the Ace of Cups, and this is the Ace of Pentacles, and that one's reversed. So the answer is leaning towards yes, that maybe you should let it go. But there is going to be a caveat here. I want you to think about this. We also have the Four of Cups upright. And so what that's telling me is that maybe you really need to give this a lot of thought before you let it go. Process this, and it seems like the cards are saying, yeah, in the end you maybe should let this go, but it's really telling you to give this some thought. Don't just make a snap decision on this.
It's saying that what your situation has been with IGB maybe indicates that there are things that IGB gives to you or shows to you that have given you pause to think about certain situations, and it's something maybe you appreciate, but maybe you need to think more about that, what is being shown to you or given to you in that part of the relationship before you decide that you either don't want to continue with that or not.
I better get my Lenormand going here. I just thought of that. But yeah, that's what it's kind of looking like to me. There may be some valid reasons, but you've got to decide if you really want to cut those ties completely before you do, and it's irreparable.
It's always possible, too, that this card may indicate that maybe they can't be decisive enough for you in certain matters, that maybe they're the one who is just too contemplative and is not necessarily having a flow of movement towards an actual goal or situation. But I don't know.
Well, again comes up the stork and the bear. And I'm thinking that in this case, what it maybe is telling me is there's a lot of power in making a change right now. You might feel like you're getting your power back in some way by making this change or making a change of some sort in regards to this friendship. What do you think?
I guess so. I'm looking at a more literal way that I feel symbolically about these two animals, and I sort of feel that that one, maybe the only reason why you question this is because you sort of feel that there are times where this person or this situation brings something new into your life that you have a way of appreciating.
I'm seeing what she's saying here, and I'm thinking that, it probably is time to let it go. That, if this is causing you to feel like you've lost some power over this, that it bothers you in a lot of ways, why hang on to it?
Yeah.
But give it some thought. Don't just, and you're right, like you said, you're not communicating now, so there's no harm in holding out longer. I mean, if it's a matter of unfollowing friends and doing stuff like that, Just give it some thought, and then when you're ready, hit that button and unfollow or whatever you need to do to cut those ties.
Well, mostly the bear.
Because I think you'll benefit.
Mostly that bear would seem to indicate that you are the one with the power in the situation. So it's just really a matter of you coming to terms with that.
That's a very good point, too. Yeah, that's right. So that's what we have for you,
Alrighty.
Josephine. I hope that helps. I'm going to grab one of my decks for the next one. We'll go through the list again. And right now, Miss Yana's up. So it'll be your question, Miss Yana. And then after that is Masonic, Kristen, Gory, Max, Sandy, Violet Ann, Jenna, E.T., and Teresa. So we are rolling.
Alrighty.
Oh, well.
And maybe that's a sense of what I get from that Four of Cups too, because it's somebody that's just sort of maybe in their head, they know how to feel these things, but maybe they can't necessarily express that elsewhere. You know, like you would have to be able to read their mind or somehow interpret what's
I guess,
going on.
and also, Josephine, I guess that's the point that maybe the 3 cards tarot were trying to say is that, yeah, maybe it's time to let it go, but do you really want to let it go? If there's still some value for you there, would it hurt to continue it in some sort? I mean, is it stopping your life from proceeding in some way? These are the kind of questions that you're going to have to work out.
Okay, and we have Miss Anna's question.
I want to do one of my...
okay.
So we do have a question, right? Did you shuffle
Right,
for it?
I had been.
Okay, then we'll use it.
Okay, and then
Shuffle.
also a request from Libra. So there.
Oh, Libra cuss can be added. Sure, Libra. And,
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah, you'll have to be added to the list. It's quite long. I will say that. Okay, and I've got you on. So, let's see. We're doing Miss Yana. And we'll throw 3 cards on that, Miss Yana, I think. We'll see what we get. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome to new folks. 222.
222. That's right. Well, mine says 223 now. I'm a little late, I guess. I had another darn 1111 experience last night, and I just saw, what was it, 1133, and I thought, 1133, I wonder if that's important to me.
Oh dear, we're now hitting our reversed.
Yeah, we've now hit the reversed cards, so it tells it's time to switch to
Miss Yana,
my
we have
deck.
3 cards. We have the 5 of Cups reversed. Yeah, I agree with you. It's time to switch decks after this. We have the World reversed. And then we have the Lover reversed.
Holy moly, this person must have been really jealous or something. I think
that's
they're
the feeling
basically
that I
worried that, maybe are they a little bit of, obviously showing a little bit of the possessive side of themselves, because the 5 of Cups kind of indicates to me reverse that maybe they're worried that you're doing too many things without them. They feel like, you're running around and they want you to themselves.
Yeah, I sort of see that a little bit. I sort of see the idea, too, that maybe there's a back and forth kind of thing with them, so they're a little bit bipolar in that way, possessive, passive, aggressive kind of stuff.
And with the World reversed, maybe I'm feeling that they're feeling a little bit, what's the word I'm trying to think of? A little bit, insecure about the relationship, obviously if they're feeling that, they got to hold on to you that tightly.
We have the Lover there.
Like maybe that they're going to lose you.
Right, and here's the idea too, that maybe part of what that is that they feel that they made the wrong decision, whatever their role was in moving towards an ex relationship. They may be looking at their part in that, how they either caused you to or how they decided to do that.
Yeah, this is there's definitely some very big discontentment showing here. It might lean towards this idea of insecurity in some way, or clinginess, possessiveness. We all need breathing room, and we all need our friends, and relationships should make room for things like that.
The why part, I guess, is slightly nebulous with these cards, but I think in an overall sense, there is a sense of possessiveness that's
Yeah.
coming out here.
I think it's
and
said.
a little bit of the passive aggressive behavior that kind of explains it. Sort of like they push, they pull back, they push, they pull back. So they leave you guessing sometimes.
This is just so weird. I'm not sure I can add to this, Miss Yana, but look at here. I've got the card that pretty much represents, person. And then I've got friend. And so it's as if this whole thing is revolving around you and the friend.
They want you to be friends with them, but they sort of really can't help their nature.
No, I mean, I meant her and her friend, this jealousy. But you're going a different way. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. It's just mostly like maybe, they're just really a really bipolar kind of personality on some levels.
I'm thinking that this relationship you have, this closeness with your friend, is definitely the factor here. In relationships, a lot of times that happens. We can say things to our friends sometimes that we may not say to our partners, and there is probably a little bit of jealousy around that. The different kind of intimacy that you share with friends. It definitely shows me that is the problem, and but the underlying reason is because they're feeling insecure in themselves, and maybe you just need to reassure them in some regard.
They regret being your ex, but on the other hand, they're not really willing to confront some of what their issues are in terms of their jealousy.
Isn't it funny how exes, should care about who you're communicating with now? But that happens, and it also says that maybe, since they are an ex, maybe there's still obviously some feelings and attachment that they have not let go of. It's pretty clear.
It's some guys, they tend to be kind of screwed up that way.
Yeah, I guess that's putting it in. Yeah, I'm not going to argue that one at all. I think that happens with a lot of guys. Women are not excluded from that mindset.
True.
Because women can do the same thing.
Yeah, but in most relationships, men seem to have the balance of power in a lot of ways, or can. So.
And also, people who are asking relationship questions, don't forget that once a week, Mr. O does his emotional exchanges on Fridays videos.
I record it on Thursday nights and it premieres on Fridays, and it's usually for that Friday for the next 7 days ahead. So go ahead and look for those on our YouTube channel, Oberon's Outlook on the Emotional Exchanges.
Yeah, see, he's a very possessive type, Miss Yana, so, he'll eventually have to let go. I mean, obviously, if he's not wanting to come back, and I just think he'll eventually have to let go. You just keep moving on and keep on keeping on and not worry about that. An ex is an ex, and they don't control your life.
Yeah, check in and let us know how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. And so we're going to move on to Masonic. Hey, Masonic, you are up.
And we have their question.
And okay. And then we have Chris, Gory, Max, Sandy, Violet Ann, Jenna, E.T., Teresa, Libra, and Aaliyah. So we're going to get to everybody.
You're welcome,
on
Miss
this
Anna.
list.
And Butterfly A has just dropped
Butterfly A. We'll put you on, Butterfly, but it's a big list. I'm just cautioning you. Hopefully we will get to everybody because we're just only a half hour into our show.
Okay, go ahead and do your cards.
All right.
Those are the other ones.
I know. I just want to give it a quick shuffle. So this, I think I'll go back to my good old Cyril Marchetti Grand Lux for this reading. And what do we have for Masonic? I forgot. Oh, my goodness. Well, we're going to do a yes-no on that and see. We'll see what the tarot has to say anyway on this. It's not...
So we don't know if it was the cold weather. We're kind of colder today than we have been.
Yeah.
So after our big snowfall, we got really cold. But two of the cats are super sacked out. They're near us. They're within about several feet of us, but they're just laying on the floor, laying on their little tree, and they're just totally passed out.
I think one of them will make an appearance before the end of the show. You mark my words. All right. Shuffle away. And we'll do a yes-no on that and see what's up. I'll give these a little bit of a shuffle.
Oh, dear.
Did you...
Maybe
Dropping the cards today. Mr. O, what do you got? The Nine of Coins. I don't know if this was related to money at all, you know, what they're accused of, but that kind of came up in a way, or material things.
Well, the person who lives alone in comfort.
Right, but this is a question about prison.
I know.
Okay.
And I'll cut.
Yep. All right. Huh, interesting. That's a very positive card. I wanted to check one thing here, though. I had this horrible feeling that maybe I passed an ace by early, but I did not. Okay. Whew. Okay. So it is looking like it's leaning towards yes. And we got this beautiful Empress card here in Cyril Marchetti's deck, and it's upright. And all I can say is, that the lawyer or their defense has to be really creative to get them out of this, if that makes sense to you at all. It just,
Yeah, that one is sort of hard to correlate with
It
the idea
is.
because it does lean towards yes. Maybe it would suggest that somehow there's growth possibility here.
I am
somewhere.
thinking there could be maybe the possibility of, like, you know how they have people do community service work and things like that in place. There may be something where they spend a little time in prison and then they have to do X amount of community work. I almost sense that maybe that card is talking about
Could
that.
be.
And let me see
A
what
lot of
the
times those are working with the public works
Right.
of a city or municipality where this is occurring.
and let me see.
So we're going to do the Lenormand too for you, Masonic.
Well, there's maybe another possibility. Let's see, there's 16 the star. And then I'm seeing the 4 with a house. So I don't know right now if maybe they're on a tether or something, or, it seems like there's the home here. One could almost think it's prison, except there's hope here. So I think that maybe it will be a lighter sentence, and the possibility might exist that maybe some of it will involve being monitored. Like if you're on parole, of course, you have probation. You know how they have to monitor you. I do think something legal, resolving of this is in store for this person. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with your gut on it. I'm not really sure I'm seeing that exactly, but I don't see that.
Yeah.
What's this again?
The house.
That's the house, right?
Yeah.
And the stars. So maybe there is this idea that they're looking for some sort of lighter sentence based on some other of the other situations involved, and that they think that he's a candidate. This person's a candidate for that.
Right. So long as they didn't do anything really horribly violent, or accused of that, then it looks like it's going to be, not the harshest of sentences that they could have gotten.
So that's what we have.
And that's what we have, Masonic. So keep us posted on that, definitely.
All right.
And we're going to move on to Chris. Chris, you're up. If you have a question, type it in now. It can be a general one, or if you have a specific question in mind. So we have Chris is next, right up now. And then we have Gory, Max, Sandy, Violet Ann, Jenna, E.T., Teresa, Libra, Aaliyah, and Butterfly. So we are moving.
And you are welcome for that, Masonic.
You're welcome, Masonic. Keep us posted. We'll be curious to see what happens there. Wish them the best. Hey, Chris. I'm going to assume you're typing, and I'm going to stick with 0 one more time. You want to use yours? Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. We've only just started using yours,
Okay.
so go ahead.
All right.
I'll save this one for later.
Okay, Chris, you're up. Going to call for Chris one more time. Yeah, hang in there, Gory. You will be next after Chris. I think she's still here, but if not, we'll move on.
So,
Type the name in and see if she will respond. And maybe, and if you don't want a reading, Chris, just let us know and we'll move on to the next person. That's another option. Some people come just to watch and listen and learn, so that's fine too.
and occasionally people have a problem with the connection and fall out and then have to come back to us, or
Yeah.
they have a phone call or something else happens. So we're sorry.
So we're
if
just
that
going to give it a moment, and if not, we'll have to put her at the bottom. Any other quick announcement, Mr. O?
Well, yes,
what's
we're going
coming
to talk
this
about the
week?
modality
Yeah.
readings. So we're going to do that probably in the next couple of days. And the modality readings are, we thought we wanted to do something different with combining tarot and astrology, because everybody kind of does readings for the signs, and so you kind of color what's happening through those signs
There you
that
are.
way. Okay.
You had it typed out?
Go ahead and try it again if you can.
Yeah, if you could try it again. Let's talk about the
I'm going to talk
modalities
about
for
what's
just a
coming
minute.
up while you're doing that, Chris. So go ahead and take your time. But what we want to do is something a little different, and we realize that in addition to each sign having an elemental association, they have a modality association. They are either one of these three, the cardinal or the fixed or the mutable signs. And those are qualities that sort of indicate different parts of where your energies actually act out or actualize. And so each elemental sign may have one of those different correspondences from another one. This reading, we hope, will kind of give a different kind of insight into how you should act, proceed, what you're experiencing, what your role is. Anyway,
Can you put me next and move on to the next person?
Just
Okay,
switch
we
with,
will. We'll do that because we're
Gory.
just mixing them. Hey, Gory, you can go now, and Kristen will go after you
right,
then.
you can go ahead and continue typing, Chris.
Yeah, and I'll try to watch the question and remember it. It's really hard, so we kind of ask people to hold their questions till their turn because it's really hard for us to keep going back in the chat, especially if you guys are having a lively chat.
Okay, so there's Gory. Thanks, Gory.
All right, Gory. Oh, and Aries, me too. Okay, all right. So I may have a 3-card spread for that. Let me check. Did you shuffle that? Why don't you shuffle, because we've got a new question. Let's reshuffle. Let me look at that. Make a move. What's future? Okay. I am ready.
All right, Gory.
Ooh.
Well, interesting.
Wow.
We got some interesting cards for you.
Gonna
We
think about
have
this one.
the upright Prince of Coins.
And you said they're a Capricorn, right? Interesting.
Well, that
Okay.
is an earthy
Yes,
kind
it
of card.
is.
We have the reversed Justice. We did not miss you, Jenna, so you're good.
Yeah, you're good, Jenna.
And then we have the upright Lovers. Okay, do you want to start?
Well, yeah. Obviously, this Capricorn seems very practical, very down to earth. You might get some news from this person, but I'm not sure it's necessarily what you want to hear. I think right now they're kind of thinking things out and they're not sure what they want to do. The Lovers is a positive card, like they could be moving towards you, but I see this Justice card reversed, and I'm thinking there's just a difficulty, a hesitancy to commit or make a decision.
They may have some possible legal issues they're dealing with, or maybe they have some situations where they have to decide things, that they have to make certain decisions, and that maybe they're not really free at the moment, or that maybe the decisions are what will enable them to have consideration for that. It's not totally clear. I don't necessarily think, but I think it is possible that maybe they still are dealing with some ramifications of a previous relationship.
It seems like they have to cut ties with something in order to, make this happen.
That's a good idea, Sandy. Thank you. That could be too, right?
Oh, that is interesting. So I don't see this as moving forward, even though there's two positive cards here at this time. It seems like it's stuck. And so you're asking if you should move on. I'm going to see what the Lenormand has to say about this. I just love Cyril Marchetti's cards, though. That Lover's card is beautiful.
Yes, it is a pretty card. I'm going to show that again. And in and of itself, it often means a choice or a decision to make, most likely about relationship situations. Oh.
I have the Fox, and I have the Moon. And I think you're going to have to think of I think this is telling me that I'm going to throw this back on you, I think, and that you're going to have to decide if you want this, a successful outcome here, you're going to have to try to figure out what makes this Capricorn really tick, and, what will move him into your sphere, because I don't see it happening yet. I think there's potential for it to happen. So I don't think you should necessarily move on just yet. I think there's more you need to find out first and dig into first. And maybe try to keep the lines of communication going.
I'm getting the slight message here of like maybe you're both closer than you think towards the concept of thinking about each other, but somehow you're sort of like circling around each other without realizing you're doing that in a way. I know it sounds sort of silly, right? People are more direct than that. But the Fox sort of represents a cleverness in a way, and the Moon sort of represents, to me, a little bit of secretiveness in a way. And so maybe you don't realize it, but maybe each of you are sort of sending out or are having an ambience about you that the other picks up that says maybe, but maybe not.
Maybe it's like a matter of some mixed signals too. So there's got to be a way to clear the air. And so you really need to maybe process this more and keep lines of communication going before you make a decision to move on. I hesitate to give any
another shot.
I hesitate to give any kind of timing on this one other than, for the foreseeable future, maybe the next month or 2 or 3, see what develops or happens. And if not, time is precious and you have to make the decision for yourself when it's time to move on.
If you're the clever Fox, then maybe you like a mystery, and maybe it might be appealing enough to figure out if there is some little secret going on or some mystery that you have to pierce. Otherwise, maybe Banshee's not right. Maybe you should move on. It really depends on your sense of patience too, in a way.
Well, you know what, Gory? I am an Aries too, and I'll just say, I like a mystery up to a point, but there comes a point for an Aries where we want to get moving,
What she said.
So I don't blame you for getting antsy here, but I'm just looking at the mixed signals and thinking, hold out just a little bit longer and see what happens or develops. And that's what I have for you today, Gory. And Chris, if you're ready, let's see, did you...
And I'm going to take a moment to deploy the Sunny Cam, because I noticed that Masonic says they miss Sunny.
I saw that.
So we're going to see if we can
messy
deploy the Sunny Cam. And there he is. He's in the top of his little tree thing
Sleeping
behind
like
me.
a baby.
Well, we hope that was a solution for you, or at least give you some insight, Gary.
Right, yeah, I don't think it's a final solution at this point, but it gives you some insight and some things to think about. And it does say think about it more, really. Just see what's going on. It's not quite the right time yet because you don't have enough information, I think. And Chris, where are you? You've got that question?
Oh, Masonic, there's only so much you'll ever see of this messy house, so trust us, we could have a competition, and there's no prize.
Well, things are going to be a changing. That's all I'm saying.
We'll see.
So, hey, Chris, come on, we're back up to you. So I
Have
hope
you
you're
been able to
typing
try it
away.
again,
And
Chris?
I'm going to move on from this deck if you want to use one of yours in the interim.
Yeah, I'm going to try my tarot transition.
I'm going to go to my little
All right, here we
animal
go.
deck. Okay. What do we got? There it is.
Okay, is your question basically if you're wondering if there's something not tangible that is she picking up on something there? Is there a realistic reason why she's feeling this, or is there a psychic or spiritual
That's
reason?
what I think she's leaning at
Yeah,
here. I think that's pretty clear. Let's see what we get. So are you also thinking that maybe she's got psychic abilities? Has she exhibited psychic abilities? So it's possible then that she is picking up something in the house that maybe others are not. Let's take a look and see.
Yeah, in my experience, Capricorns are not
An 11.
necessarily as naturally psychic without, things that are showing up in their chart, like the placement of certain planets or things.
Oh, pshaw. You know what? They say it's harder for Aries to get these messages,
I wasn't
too.
done yet, though. And what I was going to say is that they just sort of feel it more on an organic level. Like they might just feel it in their body, but they don't necessarily feel it in their head or their psychicness. They just sort of feel the body dread happens.
Well, I also think that some of these things are, how should I say this, familial. They run in families. So the thing is, if there's psychic roots in your I'll get to it. I'm not done. Psychic roots into your into your family. That trumps a lot of the astrology, in my opinion. But anyway, let's see what you got. The only thing, when we talk about are 3. Oh. And it's possible if she developed an attachment, it came along. Let's see what we get in the cards. Do you want to throw 3 on this one, I think? What do you think?
Sure. Children can be naturally more sensitive.
Yeah, especially at that age, eh?
Especially at that age. I mean, I know I had some experiences, and I know of other children who did, yourself. We watch some of the ghost shows, and it's kind of interesting because sometimes the backgrounds are really similar to what you're talking about. People who feel that there's something benign about some ghost, and then maybe something changes in the situation, and then either those spirits do not seem so benign anymore, or something else happened, and maybe it's a different set of spirits
That's
or things
true.
happening.
Maybe it invited something else along.
Okay. Oh, wow. So we have 3 reverse cards here. We have the reverse 2 of Swords. We have the reversed 7 of Swords. And then we have a reverse 7 of Cups. And this tells me that maybe this one here, that 7 of Cups, I'm thinking that Sienna has maybe something she hasn't totally been able to articulate yet. That maybe she knows something or she feels something, but she's not totally sure of what that is yet. I'm sort of getting a sense of that from that card, that she sort of has crystallized something there. What do you think?
Well, I'm wondering if she's had something that in some way, I don't want to say, don't take it as harshly as this is going to sound, but in some way that's traumatized her in some fashion. Whether it's maybe coming from some arguments or fighting at school, or whether it's coming from some family thing that happened. There might be some little residual thing that is affecting her emotionally. And so there's some lack of balance here. There's definitely some stresses that are being felt. Here, the 7 reversed seems to indicate to me that, we need to get her to come to terms with that. I think that may be the crux to the problem, and if she would only, if we could, she needs to narrow. We need to narrow it down.
Well, I'm also thinking too that there's a sense that in her mind, one of her fears is that she does think maybe she's moving into a direction that will taint her in some way. I mean, maybe she doesn't look at it that way in herself, but that it feels like it's more of a darker direction. This could be around the age where maybe children start to understand themselves on different levels to the point where maybe they are more cognizant of what is truly good that they do and what is bad, and where some of that ambiguity lies, and maybe that's what they wrestle with, because sometimes some things don't really seem bad unless something else. And so this is where they possibly develop and stretch their own critical thinking skills and about their value system. What you got?
Well, I have 19, which is the Tower. There's lots of ways I could read these 2 cards together, and I have 1, which is the Rider, News. And one of the things that comes to mind is you may hear something from the school about something related to your daughter, because the Tower could be an institution. Another thing is that maybe what you need to do is you need to find out more information and consult somebody. It might be that maybe there needs to be a healer or counselor just to make sure health-wise everything is okay. You never know, at that age they go through hormonal fluctuations, all of that stuff, that there may be something amiss. That's Rider, the News.
The Rider.
Yeah, and that is like the Tower, institutions.
When I think about these 2 cards along with this one, I get the feeling that if there is something about other spirits or other situations that are more in the spirit level, that what this card is telling me maybe is that maybe one of them in particular maybe is resonating to her, or she's resonating to it, and that the other ones maybe are not as important at this time. But it's probably not necessarily a bad thing so much as that maybe it is moving her towards her own, like I said before, actualization. Like this is her moment where she's starting to realize things about herself and realize that maybe the messages are helping her gain mastery over herself too. I'm hoping.
Well, the only thing I'm thinking here is maybe you need to rule out, a more physical cause first, if you haven't already. And the thing is that with these other cards, I am sensing there is some psychic thing going on here, but that there is an imbalance. And it could have been caused by trauma or something that she processed, negatively, that could have invited something negative in. And now she's scared. So I would, I always say start at the bottom. Rule out the things that we can rule out and then work from there.
Right, and nothing is specifically indicating a past life to me.
No.
Not really. I wouldn't say that I could rule it out. I think it's more likely about what is coming in the future, that maybe there's something she senses that's coming in the future and that it just isn't really focused enough for her to say what that is. It could just be fear, too. And so therefore maybe counseling is necessary or some more physical investigation.
Yeah, like I said, I would just rule out, the obvious and make sure everything is fine, copacetic health-wise. And then if it is, then we got to look at some of the other causes. And that's what we have for you, Chris. Feel free to follow us again and ask further, in-depth questions,
right,
in the next
we're
time.
Able to answer more questions. Because tarot is a snapshot in time.
That's right. Okay, Max.
You're welcome.
Max, you are up. And after Max is Sandy, Violet Ann, Jenna, E.T., Teresa, Libra Cusp, Aaliyah, and Butterfly. And we've still got a whole hour to go, so I think we're doing fine.
Alrighty.
Okay, Gemini.
Okay.
Future working this year. Okay.
You want to work with one of your decks?
Yeah, I want to do this one.
I think I'm so used to using it only for special purpose reading that it doesn't always speak to me exactly the same as other tarot decks.
Well, it's nice to bring out decks of different
Absolutely,
sorts.
and it does have a nice look about it anyway.
I'm thinking of re-bringing out my Spiral Tarot. Do you remember that? I like that one.
Yes,
and
that
a
was
lot
a
of
really
people I
nice
read
one.
for really liked that one too. That was during a period where we were doing a lot of readings for people. So I may bring that one out of mothballs.
Okay, so Max is.
So we got
work.
your question, and let's see what work looks like for the year ahead. All right, you can shuffle. Or not the year ahead. Is that what you asked?
In this year.
Yeah, future work in this year. Okay. Do a general. What about work? All right. Ooh. Wow. All right. Well, one thing that we started with, there's definitely a work vibe for these readings, but this one is the Ace of Wands reversed. We also have the World reversed. And then we have the Knight of Wands upright. Well, I sense that this could be a year of changes for you, Max. It looks as though either you'll be quitting or leaving possibly a job in some way or something to maybe get into something better or new. It looks like there's a prospect for something new coming as far as projects or work goes. And it's showing you right now as being a little bit discontented, I think, where you are currently. I don't know if you find that to be true, but it's as if you still feel like success is yet to be won.
Well, I see it slightly differently.
Okay.
I sort of agree with the idea that there's something is changing. That's for sure, in my opinion. Something new is starting up. And I think that it is giving you some insights into where you see yourself going. Like I sort of see that this World Reverse card says you're looking at the next position as more of a stepping stone. Like it's moving you on the path you want to go, but it's still not exactly where you think you're going, but you find that it will be a good stepping stone.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, see, that kind of makes sense to me that there's some discontentment right now, like a dissatisfaction. It's not exactly where you want to be. And I do think that this night indicates something is going to be moving and happening. Sometimes what happens, at least for me, because I have moved around from job to job a little bit, always something a little bit higher. And so what it is for me is I always feel like if I'm dissatisfied, I have to finally make that decision in my mind. I've had enough. I'm done. I'm moving on. And when you do that and you start really opening that door to find something else, it just starts happening. So let me do a Lenormand.
It is about, deciding to close the door and open
You gotta, it's kind of like cleaning your house, they say. You gotta make room for new growth. One thing they tell you to do is clean your house out. And when you make that kind of room in your life, you move that energy around, things start to happen.
One of the key things I see behind the cards is the idea that networking with other people who are in similar positions or have similar goals or aims will probably be helpful to you, that if you can find an associated network with people who are in that direction you're going. So keep that in mind, of course.
Well, okay, male or female, this is the card of you, I'm going to say. And this I drew as the heart. And so what that tells me now, we are doing a work-related reading, and I am definitely going to look at this as a work-related question. on one level, it could mean that you go into business with somebody and you establish a partnership. But on the other level, and where I think I'm really going with this is you're really searching for something that you really love. And I would hold out for that. You know, if this job is okay, I mean, you can hang there till you find what you truly want and love to do. Hold out for that. It may come to you this year. But don't just leave your job for anything. I think something is going to come along that's really going to be to your benefit.
Well, it may be that what I was seeing with the World Reverse card, the stepping stone, is that maybe that is more applying to where you're at now, and that you've been waiting for that moment where you do step off towards something else, because you are vibrating towards that. You have a strong vibration towards getting into what you really love. So I think you just need to consider the networking, which I talked about, because that's kind of indicated by this card too. So I think things mostly look positive. You just have to be ready for the opportunity and, keep positive.
Hey, Balkus, I know you threw a question out there, but of course I'm adding you to the list. You'll have to write that later. I have you down at the bottom of the list. I'll go over the list in just a minute.
Okay, so that's
Glad
what
to
we
see you
have
back,
for you,
Balkus.
Max.
Yeah, that's what we have for you, Max. I hope that gave you some information to go on. And we're going to move on to the next reading, which is Sandy. Hey, Sandy, you are up.
Hi, Sandy.
And after Sandy is Violet Ann, Jenna, E.T., Teresa, Libra Cusp, Aaliyah, Butterfly, and Balkus. And I'm not ready to cut the list yet, but we may have to at some point soon. We'll go to one of your decks.
You're very welcome. All right,
You're very welcome, Max. Hey, Sandy, I know you're typing your question probably. Get my after.
And I'll show our schedule briefly here. We will be back next Thursday. We're on Eastern Standard Time, so that'll be 7 p.m. to 9 p.m.
And It's getting close to Chinese New Year, so I will be bringing out some of my silly Chinese themed toys that I actually have, or divination things.
All right, Sandy, we'll be doing that question for you. I'm going back to using my Nefertari's Tarot.
All right.
How do you want to do that one?
Well, what do you think? Should that be let's throw 3 cards and see what we can find out about a relationship with this person.
Okay, and go ahead and shuffle.
I will. All right. Okay. We may put you at the bottom of the list if you miss your turn, but you still got people in front of you, Teresa, so don't worry. Hey, Stardoll, thank you for that question, but you'll have to type it again. I'm going to put you at the bottom of the list, and we will get to you when we can. I'll mention the list order after this reading for Sandy. There you go. All right, what do we got? Oh.
All right. We have pulled our 3 cards. The first one is the Tower reversed. So right away, a lot of karma here.
Yeah.
But I also have the 6 of Cups, which says there's something really beyond karma, maybe just like good vibes from the past or nostalgic feeling of some sort. And the 2 of Cups, which is always good for certain types of relationships or partnerships or unions. It's harmony.
Yeah.
So there's something really harmonious about the situation, I guess.
Well, I guess there's just one caveat. This Tower reversed always concerns me. Because when the Tower, there's definitely karma here. And I just want to make sure that, I don't know if it's C or I don't know if it's you, Sandy, but somebody needs to really process some of the lessons they've learned from the past and let them go. You don't want to keep repeating cycles that are not healthy for you. So, like this relationship with C, you have to just, make sure you're not just repeating some negative cycle, that this person will help break that. And from what I see here, there is some either attachment to the past or memories from the past, like maybe this person reminds you of somebody, if they're not somebody from your past, that this reminds you of somebody that you got along with really well or something. There's some kind of connection to the past or past ways of thinking here. And the Two of Cups is like, I don't know, that's like a relationship card, so I think you should definitely consider pursuing this, but just with that caveat that I mentioned to you there. And we're going to draw some Lenormand to see if we get some more insight. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I get the feeling like there's karma, and I don't know if that means that if it's not just a past relationship or a nostalgia somehow, that there might be some reincarnation or connection of the past life of some sort.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
Yeah. So you pulled it too. So I think we're reinforcing that for you, that there might be something to look at here.
It would seem to be something that you would be comfortable with, that there's harmony there. So, where nothing really says don't do this.
Well, another interesting combination here. I've got the coffin, and then I drew the flowers. And I don't know, was C recently involved in a relationship? It seems as though maybe they are coming out of a relationship, or maybe that you are. At any rate, something needs to come to an end, and then something beautiful can develop, I think. So, maybe this bad cycle, this negativity, it's possible maybe that what this is telling me is this relationship has the potential to put this to an end, and something beautiful could develop. But, I think that's the kicker here in some way.
I don't know if you're saying this, but I'm wondering if that may be part of your role, besides any other possibility of strong friendship or more, is that you're each helping each other process some things about previous relationships or about situations that you're letting go of. And I sort of feel like maybe that's the connection too, is that there's something, you're working with each other on some of your situations.
Yeah. So I would say my gut is to check this out, give it a try.
Well, looky who we got.
Oh, look.
Hello there.
Oh, look.
Hello there, my little one.
An interloper cat. It is our Sassy.
I see. Okay. Well, I don't know why they do, because I sort of see some good things about them from what I sense there. So maybe they just need some pep talks. I'm not sure why that would be. I didn't see anything
no
specifically
butt shots
about that.
for the camera.
No butt shots, cat.
Sorry, guys. Sassy's just getting a little bit...
I just grabbed a card real quick, and I get the feeling like they feel like sometimes they fall into situations where they have to compete with other people, and they don't always feel that they end up with that position they would like to have in those competitions. So maybe that's what contributes to their situation.
I'm getting little kitty kisses right now. Aww.
You're welcome.
You are welcome, Sandy. Good luck with that. And hey, Violet Ann, you are up. And after Violet Ann, we have Jenna, E.T., Esoterics, Teresa, Libra, Aaliyah, Butterfly, Balkis, and Stardoll. That's the order I have. So Violet Ann.
Who doesn't love everything Egyptian? Well, probably a lot of people, but We gotta switch to that deck?
Do you want? Yeah.
We could. Yeah, why not?
Why don't you shuffle first, since I have issues? So, Well, we'll see, January girl. We'll add you in. I think you're going to be the last one I add to the list.
And we'll take it from here. Okay,
So we have, okay, Violet Ann, second. There you go. And then Jenna E, Esoterics, Teresa, Libra, Aaliyah, Butterfly, Balkis, Stardal, and January girl.
Did you already shuffle?
No, because she's here and I have absolutely... Aha! There, you can get her attention away from me. Awesome. I did mention, see, it doesn't take a psychic to predict that one of our cats would make an appearance before the live stream is over.
They want to knock over the camera.
Okay, I'm going to cut. So Leo in Capricorn this time, huh? All right. We had an Aries in a Capricorn a little while ago.
Olympus has fallen.
Uh-oh.
Sassy, don't be knocking over the camera.
Then now it's a little crooked too, I think, but okay.
It is.
Oh, you're taking the
Go
top
ahead.
like that, right?
Yeah.
I'll do it your way, Mr. O.
Well, you
All
don't
right.
have to.
So let's see. Well, some good, some bad. We have the Nine of Wands reversed. We have Death reversed. And we have the World upright.
We still haven't called you yet, Jenna, so you didn't miss your turn.
Yeah, Jenna, you're okay. We haven't been, as a matter of fact, Jenna, you are right after this reading, so don't go anywhere. So we're going to read for Violet Ann. And Violet Ann, this card to me says somebody is not ready for moving forward in this relationship. You know, you have the Nine of Wands reversed. And then, Mr. O, I'm going to give you this one because don't you think they kind of go together? So it seems as though somebody is not quite ready. Things are kind of stalled. I don't know if this makes sense to you at all. Do you feel like things have kind of plateaued or aren't going anywhere at present?
And I also feel, too, that one feels that the advantages they had, they don't feel they quite have them now. Like maybe just to some degree the landscape has shifted. It could be that maybe there's another person who entered the picture, so there's competition, or there's just something else that is interfering in some way. What's the other card?
And the other card, though, on the other hand, is the World. So to me, it looks as though there is some really good potential here, but it's just that right now there doesn't seem to be a lot happening. Something's got to nudge it forward, and I'm not sure what. But there is a potential for, you know, some positivity to come out of this relationship.
I get the feeling like somebody has to really change something that they're really holding on to. Maybe it's their attitude about money or something like that. Materialism, and then maybe somebody else has to just understand, it could be the same person, it could be the other person, that sometimes you don't always win, or sometimes you do your best and you still only just do your best. I don't want to be too depressing about that, but sometimes you just don't always win.
So yeah, I do think that, you know, right, this is a tough call for me because I see some positive there, but I see that it looks as though a lot of effort has to be expended to move things forward. At least that's what it's looking like.
But if it did, it sort of looks like it could be really positive because that World card just really sort of says this could be really fabulous. And there, is that a lily?
Yeah, it is. And I got the broom. I've got the lily. And I don't know, and when I see that, you know, together, I don't know why, but I'm thinking the broom and the lily, because the lily talks a lot about maturity and stuff. And the broom is kind of sweeping away, but it's a quick, decisive action. And to me, it seems as though somebody needs to grow up in this relationship. Somebody needs to be the big person in the relationship and say, hey, you know, it's time to move forward. It's time to put up or shut up. It's time to move this along.
Yeah, I get that too. Like it could just literally go two ways. That somebody could either just decide they're gonna own up to their responsibilities, or maybe they could also just decide to say, "Oh, screw it, I'm gonna just go and do something different."
Yeah, because also the other thing about this card, since the broom is a sweeping away motion, and sometimes the lily also talks about longevity, I get the feeling that maybe it's saying that somebody is going to realize that this relationship does not have long term potential.
Well, I always get the feeling that this represents a really stubborn kind of personality. Even if they are able to kind of let it go a little bit, which is what they need, I still feel that that's very much Capricornian part of that literal stubborn iron will. So it's one of those like good luck situations. They may be able to change their mind, but a lot has to convince them of that. They ultimately seek the best.
Yeah, I think, both of you are shooting and aiming for the best in your own ways. But whether that's going to come together, to form a cohesive relationship partnership, I'm not sure. At this time, anyway. So feel free to ask again something similar and we'll see what we get. I'm not saying to write it off completely, but I am saying there's some work involved here. Violet Ann, definitely.
Alrighty.
Okay, and Jenna, you are up. This is your turn. And Esoterics is next, and then Teresa, Libra, Aaliyah, Butterfly, Balkis, Stardow, and January.
Whoa.
And we're cutting our list with January. What happened?
Packed 45 minutes. No, I'm
Yeah.
just going to say we're going to
So packed 45 minutes, but we're rolling. We're moving. All right. Well, thanks for giving me that fact, Violet Ann. I'm sensing that. I don't know why. I got that right away when I saw that lily card, that it was, and the broom together. So,
Okay.
Jenna, try to sell my art on Etsy.
And you are welcome.
Turn out well. That's a yes/no question. Let's
right.
check on that for you. Do you want to use mine again or yours?
Let's use my tarot transition.
Okay.
Again.
Lay down, girlfriend. Lay right down. There you are. She's in a very sweet mood right now. Yes, she is. All right. You're welcome, Violet Ann. Thanks for hanging in there. So I think this week we're going to be doing part 2 of our follow-up for our 2020 U.S. predictions. And this one is going to be on economic issues in the year ahead. So stay tuned for that. It'll probably come out sometime next weekend, I think. Maybe before. It just depends. We got a full slate because we're doing the monthly modality reading this week. All right. Shall I pick them?
Yes.
Do it your way again, and I will do it. Oh, I got one. Oh. Let me just double check one thing here. I want to make sure his deck is a little bit different. So I want to make sure I did not miss an ace along the way. And I did not. So this is leaning towards no right now, Jenna. And I will explain why. We have the Hanged Man reversed. And we have the Hermit reversed. So, and we also had the Ace of Coins upright, which is called the One of Coins in this Egyptian deck. And, so that's clearly the material end of things. And it just doesn't seem like it's going to work out. But maybe it's possible because of some effort and work that you're not willing to put into it. You're just wondering if it's worth all of that to you. I guess that is your question. And so that was the Hermit, or the Hangman reversed. You also had the Hermit reversed. You may just not, in your mind, you may be thinking, you really are questioning whether this is advantageous to you or not, or a lot of wasted effort. I would say at this time, it's saying that it's a bit of a wasted effort until maybe you might come up with a better plan, business plan, or you're willing to invest a lot of time and effort into it and marketing it, maybe the heck out of it. That's what it seems like to me, that it's going to take a lot of time for little return at this point. What about you?
Right. What it mostly seems to indicate, I think, is that to some degree, what you're going to find is that on Etsy, it's a very overcrowded field for that, and that you probably would like to find something where it wouldn't be quite like that, and maybe there would be other advantages to that. To me, to some degree, there might be some factors about what you are giving up or what you are underappreciating that also factor into this, that maybe there's just certain levels of control that you give up when you sign on to Etsy or situations like that.
Well, and the only caveat here, I would say, here, throw that one out there, we got the house again. And we got number 1, news. Now, oftentimes when I get the rider is more like a messenger and something coming maybe through the mail, but it's news. I think with the rider, the news can come in a variety of different ways. But I'm looking at those 2 cards together, and I can't help but think it does indicate potential for a business, being run at home, where you could network with people and sell stuff. So maybe it's just a matter of more planning. This gives me an idea that, even though it said it's leaning towards no, that maybe you just need to plan this better and get more information before you set this up.
Right, because it does seem like ultimately you're going to be doing this from your home.
Something from your home.
The rider too could be just indicating how it's delivered, and maybe the delivery system isn't necessarily Etsy, maybe it's something else. Maybe there's more investigativeness that you need to find out.
Yep, I agree with that.
I know my daughter-in-law was selling art on Etsy, and I don't think she does it so much anymore. I'm wondering if it's for similar reasons.
Hey, Patton, I'm going to toss you on the list, but you are at the bottom, and it's not likely we'll get to you, but it's possible. So, because people come and go, so if you want to hang in there, we'll see what happens. And good to see you again, Patton.
Hi, Patton.
Yeah, so take your time with it, Jenna, and I'm just going to say that, it wasn't a definite no, so check back in with us and try to get more prepared for it, and maybe the energies will change accordingly. So, hey, Esoterics, you are up. And then after Esoterics is Teresa, Libra, Aaliyah, Butterfly, Balkis, Stardoll, January Girl, and then we have Patton.
Patton may not necessarily need a reading. He's
okay.
Hi.
Well, we'll keep you on there anyway, Patton. You never know what'll happen.
You're welcome, Jenna.
And if you don't want a reading, that is fine as well. And you're welcome, Jenna. Absolutely.
Oh, you mean so we have to pull a card blind and see if
we're going to pull 3 cards blind. That's what we're going to do. That sounds fabulous. I love it, E.T. I love it. Right. Okay. And I think you're really going to like something we have planned. I'm only going to tease it. I'm not going to give any information away, except we're going to do a special video with something that I purchased this holiday season for myself. And it's a fun thing, too, especially for people in our line of work. So that's all I'm going to say. But me and Mr. O are going to try it out in a video.
Okay.
Oh, dear. Sassy. Stop that. Okay, hold on.
Oh, did she knock that over?
Yes, and loosen something. I don't know if I can fix it.
Okay.
All right, it's okay.
Is it?
We got to keep her away from it, totally.
And you know what else is happening? She's shedding so vigorously
that I'm
getting fuzz all over my face, so it's making me want to rub my nose and keep it.
Didn't we just brush her? What is up with that?
She's always shedding. Okay, I have shuffled those. I
Oh,
think I want to do one
Chris
more.
has a sassy cat.
Do you want another?
Oh,
No, I'm
no, we are
kidding.
not giving up. Oh, those are fighting words, Mr. O.
No. Okay, what do you think that question is? You want me to
You
cut?
have to cut. I shuffled already. I have to stop her from this.
Oh, I somehow have cards mixed up.
Just leave them. Leave them. This is just the way it's going to be.
Okay. Anything can happen with Oberon and Banshee.
Yes. They're here for a reason, and especially when, wow. Well, I think it might might have more overtones with a business or enterprise here, something new. Definitely the focus on something new, something growthful. I think that that also this involves a return to something, coming back to something that maybe is familiar, something that maybe you gave up on, but you want to give it a second chance. And you got a 2 here. This is the 2 of wands upright. So that means to me some kind of plans, projects, or enterprise of some sort, something growthful. It could be a partnership of some sort.
It looks like a partnership.
It does. And then, but you also have the Knight of Wands reversed. And it might be because you feel that there have been some setbacks recently. Things have not been working out the way you thought they would. You got, so that maybe you are looking to go back to something else.
Yeah, and I'm thinking too that there's the idea that there's something that's maybe in your mind to you, something even more exotic or unique that you want to try to pierce into, that you're really looking for something that's even more unusual for even yourself that you're trying to go to. But the first card was the 8 of Cups reversed, and that to me was also indicating that you've reached a point where you feel like it is imperative that you find the focus and that you really exploit it. So you're going to find yourself becoming a lot more intense about that, I think. And that, of course, does lead to...
Which is good.
Yeah, it's good because it also finds... What you will find will be that you're not really alone, that there's so many people that are going through this right now, and that this investment leads to the grander partnership that you are working on.
Well, and there is the Sun, esoterics, and the Tower, which is interesting because often the Tower, when you think of that, it could be corporates, institutions. It could also be isolating, up in your ivory tower. But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself that you want to build a little empire here. That's what it looks like to me in some way. You want to build something solid, something enduring, something that really, is...
I feel something strongly metaphoric here, more so than what I get from knowing Lenormand, which I don't. And that the idea is that the tower gives you vantage point. And then with the sunny land, the sun, it's just like you can see for miles. It's like that old song by The Who in the 60s, I can see for miles. And the idea is that what you see is what you are able to control or to find space to manifest in. I know that's convoluted and labored, right?
Well, if
Empire
this...
of Love. Oh, I like that.
Well, E.T., if that's a hint, and this was about love at all, this would also indicate to me, being that it's a tower, it could be an institution like marriage. It could be some kind of a strong bond. It does look like success if it is about a marriage or a partnership of some type. So whatever this question was, it's definitely, I think it's more positive than negative here. It just means that you are returning to something that was really important to you, I think.
I don't know what I know. This is going to be silly, but when I see the tower, I think of Rapunzel, and so I'm thinking that's a metaphor.
Oh.
Letting down your hair is a metaphor for letting things into your life as well.
I think your purpose in life is that you're an empire builder. That's what I think, that you build strong, solid foundations. And that, of course, ultimately leads to success. So awesome. Well, I'm glad, that was really interesting. Esoterics, thanks for challenging us that way. I really appreciate it.
And now we will issue our standard disclaimer. No.
Yeah.
Thank you, Esoterics.
Yeah, that was awesome. All right. So, hey, to myself and what really
Thank you.
matters.
Thank
Awesome. Well, you know what? I feel that way too lately myself. So it's been causing some bits of shakeups in my life as well. Much needed. Hey, Teresa, I hope you're still with us because you are up. And then it's Libra
You're
Cusp,
welcome.
Aaliyah, Butterfly, Balkis, Stardow, January, and Patton. And we are going to pack you in. You're welcome, Esoterics, anytime, anytime. Oh, hey, Braylon, I could put you on the list, but I'm very doubtful that we could get a reading in for you today. We have kind of a big list going. But welcome.
Yeah, we're waiting to see if
We're
we can
going to
get through what
see
we
if
have. We have
Teresa
a few
is
people.
still here. Teresa will give you a second shout out. Because sometimes people are writing their questions, so we give a few moments. Mr. O, did you type it?
I'm gonna if you want me
Okay.
to.
Yeah, go ahead. It's possible that Teresa has left the, but we'll see. Give it one more moment. Is it my cards or yours this time?
We can go back to my Egyptian deck.
Okay. And I'm going to bring out my Marquetti again for my next one. All right, Teresa, one last call because Libra Cusp is ready to go if you are not here. So, final call for Teresa. And I'll have to put Teresa way down at the bottom. All right, we're going to move on to
Libra Cusp.
Libra Cusp.
With a general reading. Hi, Libra.
Yep. All right, Libra, you are up, and I'm shuffling. You're shuffling the cards. Yeah, it's okay.
This was already decided.
It was already decided. Yes, indeed, Mr. O. We have so many tarot decks here, we don't know what to do with them all.
We could use a roulette table or a dartboard to guess.
All right. Let's see what's going on generally for Libra. Libra Cusp.
Ready?
Okay, yes. Oh. Va va boom boom,
Well, you
Libra.
have some powerful cards here.
You have the Two of Cups upright. You have the
Hierophant.
Hierophant card upright. And you have, really, the Ace of Pentacles upright. Well, I don't know if you are Libra Cusp, but you should be feeling pretty good right about now, or you will be soon. When I see the Two of Cups and I see the Hierophant card right next to it, I kind of see marriage. I kind of
I
see
feel like you're
some
vibrating
kind of
towards a strong
commitment.
a union, a marriage.
And if this isn't in a relationship, it is a commitment to something important to you.
Right. It could just be the fact that you're committing to some new job or some new project that has pretty strong material energies about it.
333. Oh, why am I always looking at 334?
Maybe if it's a partnership with a person that's more romantic related, that there's a strong pulling of resources by this happening too.
Well, and I just feel like if I put the three of these cards together, there's commitment, there's there's a partnership or a relationship, and then there's that pentacle, the Ace of Pentacles, which to me, aces are very growthful, but that that earthy pentacle there is saying there's a lot of growth potential here. Wouldn't you say?
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think that there's something big in the offing here with what's going to happen. And like I said, it could just be a partnership that's relating to this project of material energies.
Huh. Well, maybe, but the thing is that there is a coming together of something here, and it looks very good. Let me see if the Lenormand can add to this or muddy it. As the case may be.
Two of these cards really have strong feelings about decisiveness and about really being in control of situations. To me, the Two of Cups can represent that, the sense of perfect balance and harmony. The Hierophant sort of represents a sense of that as well, though it also goes towards the idea of conformity.
We have
normalness, quote unquote.
Again, a male-female, which in this case I think is indicative of you, and because it's like a significator card. And then we have the Anchor. And the Anchor is a lot of stability. The Anchor doesn't move fast, is staying where they're at, sort of. So what I'm feeling is right now there's this sense of this, whatever's happening here is going to be long term. It's going to be very stable anyway. So whether this is about yourself and getting yourself into some new cycle of growth, or if this is about a partnership or a coupling, this seems like it's very long term.
There's a deep sense of rootedness about the Anchor card. And what I feel with the Hierophant is that there's a lot of newer interpretations that sort of suggest more modern concepts about love and marriage. I also feel too that it really talks about the old-fashioned stuff too. And so if it doesn't really apply to you in the sense of traditional marriages or things like that, it might apply in the sense of, and I won't say in terms of outright conformity, but about maybe a really strong sense of societal appearances, about the appearance of everything really being in its proper place, nothing being highly unusual. These days, what does that mean? People can wear tattoos all over their body and be, 5-star restaurant cooks, so I don't know, really.
Do you have the sassy cam on?
You mean that?
Yeah, because sassy is very playful here right now with my pen. So that's what we have for you, Libra. I hope that helps. And we are moving on now to Leah.
All right.
Good vibes for you, Libra cusp at any rate, and it looks like that's going to be the norm for a while.
Okay, you want to switch to your deck?
Yep. Hey, Leah, are you with us?
Back to that Lewis question. That was kind of interesting.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's go with the yes or no on this and we'll go to the
Yeah, let's see. All right. Well, I hope you've heard something to at least indicate that this person is doing okay, even if they're not responding to you. Do one more and I'll pass it to you to shuffle. Gotta get moving here. All right. Well, I would say try. It looks as though some of the vibes are a little bit better, I think, than when we read before. I would say definitely try to text. This might be a good time. The Ten of Cups is here. excuse me, that's a real positive card for family life or family, but also this could just indicate to me that you feel this person is sort of like family to you, and I
Strong
think
relationship.
yeah, you have a strong relationship, and I think that the time is right for you to try to test those waters and see what you get.
That's what I'm seeing here too. That basically, you don't have to justify it. Really, it is really about family.
And if this card, the Ten of Cups, is is talking about what's going on with your friend right now, it seems as though things have calmed down, and that maybe things are a little bit better right now. I'm hoping
That
that's
would be
true.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm sensing there would be, if I'm thinking about that person in regards to that card, it's showing that things are kind of stable right now in what's going on. Maybe they've been trying to maintain a stable balance. Seems to be working.
Like a sister.
Well, this is very interesting to me because here we have the ring, which I drew first. And then I drew the ship. I could look at this a couple of different ways. One is that it's possible that your relationship with this person is changing right now. And it doesn't really indicate to me for better or worse. The other thing is that this person might be making changes in their relationship right now, and that is why, you haven't heard from them, is because of some changes or disruptions that have been going on with them. And it's not necessarily negative disruptions, it's just stuff that they are taking care of.
Could they have run off and married this person? Could they have eloped somehow, or just somehow changed their status quo to be more inclusive of their relationship somehow?
Well, are they married? Oh, thank you, Gory. We're doing what we can trying to get through the list. Okay. All right. Well, there may have been some changes since then. And so maybe that's playing into this, and that's why they haven't been in touch. Maybe you're on just a little bit lower of their pecking order, or it's matters in their relationship that's kind of keeping them from doing that. But things don't seem bad. So I would say go ahead and give it a shot and see what happens.
Hi, Smiling Soul. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
And by all means, let us know.
We're not sure if we'll be able to get around to you, though.
Oh,
We have
yeah,
a lot
Smiling.
of people on the list.
I think no.
We're sorry.
But let's see, we're going to move on from Aaliyah now, and we're on Butterfly. Hey, Butterfly, you've made it. So you are up. Balkis is next, and then Star Doll, January Girl, Patton, and
Aaliyah.
Braylon, if we can get to them. But I think that's it. And Braylon, I'm really not sure. Patton, I think we're probably going to end up with Star January Girl ending there. We'll see. We've got 15 minutes. You're welcome. Best of luck. And like I said, Aaliyah, keep us posted. Feel free to ask again depending on how your texting turns out.
So we're waiting for Butterfly?
Yeah. Try
Right.
type Butterfly. We'll see if she is still with us. And if not, we will move on. Been a busy day, Smiling Soul, I just have to say, which is all good.
And I noticed you weren't here earlier, and I didn't know what to do about that. I figured that maybe you had something else going on.
Oh, you didn't get a reminder. I don't know how that happens. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
Okay, so if Butterfly doesn't
Yeah, I
respond
think
shortly, we're
Butterfly
going to move on.
is not here. Snow is kind of now icy. What's there is on the ground and icy, but the roads seem to be okay. I went out briefly this morning. There are slick patches we have to watch for, but
Last call,
not
Butterfly, as we are going to now move on to Balkis.
Hey, Balkis. Did you put your question on? I thought I saw something earlier, but I
Maybe earlier, but if Balkis is still here, they have to give us their question again.
Yeah, Balkis, I think you
So
got to
we can
give us
move
your
on.
question again.
I'm looking for it, though.
I went pretty far and I didn't see it, but you might find it. It's cold. That's the thing, Smiling Soul. The cold is now getting me. When I was out there today, I was just like, oh man. But this is the way Michigan usually is at this time of year, so I can't complain too much. We're going to get back up to the 40s by next weekend again, which is kind of crazy to me.
Okay, do you understand that? Basically about what the teacher thinks
Focus,
and
what
feels.
are my... Okay, what my teacher thinks and feels about me. Okay, we'll take a look.
The regular deck?
I know. I'm going to pass it. Oh, do you want to use one of yours? I thought maybe we'd go back to yours this time. Sorry. Well, we'll try to get to you, January girl. I don't want to make you type that again. I'm going to try to remember that question when we get to you. All right. I'll do one more good one. Let's do 3 cards and see. Okay. Whoa.
Oh dear.
I'm honestly not sure how to read this, I would say.
Yeah, I think you should change class. I don't think your teacher likes you.
Well,
I'm not
this is
sure.
really some tough cards here. We have all swords, first off. So I think this teacher is very judgmental, very critical on some levels. I don't know if you're picking that up. But we have the 9 of Swords, and it's reversed, which is, I guess, a good way to get the 9 of Swords. I will say that. But that is followed by the 10 of Swords, which is not a happy card. That's upright. And then we have the 5 of Swords upright. And, you know, as teacher is really has some issues. I think that, you know, they're hypercritical and they could be unfair in their judgments and kind of like, I don't want to say this, but maybe they have a lot going on in their personal lives
I'm
right
picking that
now,
up.
and they're projecting it onto students. I don't know if this makes sense to you at all, but I see this in some way. There is, though, a release of some sort and some healing. Oops, I don't know if that was showing. With the 9 of
It was.
Swords reversed. But this is really kind of a difficult reading. I'm going to let you take it.
I think that's mostly what I would agree with here too. That there's definitely an adversity between this teacher and you, and that to some degree they may be actually very wrapped up in some personal situation, and maybe they're over-identifying you with their situation in an inappropriate way, like maybe you are a proxy or a metaphor for some difficult person or situation that's other that they're dealing with right now.
This is really tough. These combination of cards makes me think that this person could either bring you sorrow or disappointment, or they could try to help heal you from that sorrow. But just looking at these cards, I think it's the first thing I said rather than the second.
Yeah, we are sorry, Butterfly. We are sorry we missed you. Hopefully next time.
And now I've got the crossing card, which often means endings or grief of some sort. Remember, I'm talking about sorrow here. I'm talking about a gift. I'm thinking that this is telling me there is an end to positive things here, that this is like something that you need to move away from in some way if you can.
Yeah, I get the feeling like that maybe this is one of those things that what you learn is not exactly
Hard
what you thought you were
lessons.
going to learn.
Hard lessons.
That the lesson you learn is how you move forward from this.
Yeah, I wish I had better things to say. The vibes are
It does
very,
seem to
very
be really stressful and confusing.
difficult right now. And I don't know if you can relate to this at all, but I'm not seeing a happy ending here right now. So either you're going to have to work harder to impress this person, or you have to move on. And maybe if there is a choice of working with another teacher or mentor, I would consider that.
Okay, that's what we have then.
And that's what we have right now for you, Balkus. Hey, Stardoll, are you still with us? You are up if you are. So type in your question. After Stardoll is January's girl. So we know we can get you two in, and we'll see what happens after that.
You are welcome, Balkus. Yeah, it may be that Stardoll and January Girl will be our last two.
I think so.
Okay, a
'cause
love
that's gonna
reading,
take
please.
us. All right. I'll do this.
So it's been a busy 2 hours nearly.
Absolutely, non-stop. Why, I didn't even drink any of my limeade mixed with water.
I drank all of my tea. I
I
had a
did drink
nice
my
little
tea.
cup of hot tea, which was nice.
Okay, Stardoll, we've got you. We'll do a love reading for you.
Here we go. Go ahead and cut Madam Banshee.
You want me to cut?
Yes, please.
Alrighty.
3. Twee.
Yep.
Ooh. Okay, so our 3 cards are Justice Upright, the 3 of Coins reversed, and then that's the King of Cups reversed. So in the romantic
I
front,
guess I would ask a question right from the get-go, Stardoll. Are you in a relationship right now with someone?
right? Because I'll just answer
Just
that
answer
myself.
yes or no.
My feeling is that
Oh, okay.
okay, we'll wait. You know me, I'm getting the psychic blurt.
Are you? Well, let's see what Stardoll says, because I want to know this, because I think this is important. So, Stardoll, are you in a relationship at the
No.
present? Okay. All right, that'll make a difference for me here.
I got the feeling like maybe one broke up not very long ago, and that there are some questions about fairness related to that breakup. Like maybe, I don't know for sure, but I'd say that maybe that person broke up with you, and that there may have been some general personality conflict or jealousy over things you did that weren't necessarily as inclusive or able for them to feel they were involved in. Specifically, it might be something to do with things you do that are more on an artistic level, or something you do that's really you projecting outward your creativity or something like that. I'm taking it that you're agreeing with that. So I don't see nothing necessarily coming towards you right away in a new relationship. We're going to throw Letterman to see that. But I do sort of feel like maybe some of this baggage or situation here is hanging there. Is it time for you to jump in?
I think something is hanging there, something that maybe you felt, didn't bring out the best in you. And, you're kind of getting out of that situation and looking for just a relationship where, it's more on an even keel. You feel like in the previous relationship that things were not fair to you, that you weren't being treated, that it wasn't a fair, even, equal partnership. And that's what you're looking for.
Well, I wanted to add one more thing too, because I get the feeling like to some degree this was sort of unexpected. That's why there's a sense of injustice or unfairness here, because maybe the way you understood your relationship with that person, you thought they were better than that, or that they had previously had been better to that. So it's sort of almost in a way represents like just a real change in their mind, and I don't know if maybe they had some pain or trauma that they couldn't share with you, or that they weren't able to get out, and it's just kind of destroyed them a little bit in a way.
Yeah, I'm thinking right now, okay. That is the park or garden in this particular Lenormand. And then we have the clouds. And I'm thinking here right now is not a good time for socializing, for networking and finding people like, through other channels, through your social networks. I think right now is a time to lay low still and let things pass. You're still working through some stuff, I think. And it's just saying do that first. Make sure you're in the right mindset before you go out there and put yourself out there to the masses, because you're maybe in a little bit of a vulnerable situation right now. You may feel you're ready for something new and something to happen, but I think you need to give yourself a little bit more time.
I think Banshee's right with that too. I think that there is a part of you that sort of feels like you want to feel some connection with somebody, but what you would find right now would just sort of be some obscurity, that you wouldn't really find the kind of personality or situation you're looking for. And it could just be too that just to some degree you haven't really totally gone all the way through your own situation. So it's okay for you to not necessarily have anything going on right now. It's probably more important for you to continue to go back and work with your art or with your other projection that you do, and to let it happen as it does. It won't be terribly long, I don't think. I'm thinking it's really somewhere within a year things are going to probably resolve.
Well, I think it'll be earlier than a year possibly,
Yeah,
but
it'll be
I'm
within it,
not.
though. Yeah.
I'm going to say, the vibes for the next 1 to 3 months are a little bit iffy.
I would agree with that.
That's what I think.
Alrighty.
So hang in there, Star Doll. Just hang in there and check in with us again.
Yeah, check in again sometime.
And good reading for you. And January Girl, we finally made it. You are going to be our last reading of the night. We're going to go slight into overtime. So to Patton and Braylon and Teresa and Smiling Soul, sorry we didn't make it with you, but we appreciate you all coming to join us
Patton
today.
just wanted to drop in and say
Yeah,
hi,
Patton.
and that was pretty sweet too. So thank you.
So okay.
That's right. You wrote this earlier. Yes,
Oh, that's
I remember
right.
That. Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Very cool. Thank you, January Girl. Let's go.
Okay, so it's like a choice.
Yes. Do they try to go back to where they were, or do they go to the backup?
Okay, so we're going to do it as a choice one, and we'll explain that as we go here.
And I'm rubbing Sassy's belly for good luck for your reading, January Girl. It has never failed. Well,
you should not put that pressure on Sassy.
Sassy wants to lick my arm.
Sassy's very lovey-dovey today. And playful. Aww.
So I take it this is going to probably be 2 for each, right?
Yes. You're welcome,
Yes.
Star Doll. So we'll do one.
Thank you, everybody, for being here with us as we're closing out our broadcast today. And remember that we will be back next Thursday at 7 Eastern Standard Time for another 2 hours. We're also going to be premiering our modalities monthly reading.
Yes,
that'll
do
probably
check
be
out
the
our
next few days,
videos.
and that'll be on the YouTube channel. That's not going to be a live broadcast, just a special one. All right, January. Here we go.
Wowzers. So, this is going to be very interesting. For the first choice, which is go back into what you have experienced, or the... Right now I see the Ace of Pentacles reversed for that option, and the 8 of Swords upright. Now the other option, before we get into interpreting this will be, do I take the leap, the backup? And that one we have the 3 of Swords reversed and which one is that?
The King of Cups.
The King of Cups upright. So I think your backup is a go, and I'll explain why in a minute. Because looking at where you're at right now, it looks like it's maybe not that financially good for you in some way, or you feel like you're not growing where you're at right now. This Eight of Swords upright kind of indicates somebody who feels trapped or, confused in some way, inability to move higher or forward, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, I'm getting the feeling that some parts of the monetary part are drying up there, and that maybe somebody's even actually saying to you, and this came as more of a glimpse, is that they've suggested that you might have to have more training or be retooled for some other work. Like maybe you could go there, but like maybe there would be still some complications there. And I feel too, like with this Eight of Swords too, that it locks you into something that you don't necessarily want to be locked into. You like doing that, you have that experience, but it may be a dead end, and maybe that's what the training's about. So I don't know, kind of iffy there. Iffy in my opinion.
Let's talk about the second option here,
Yes.
about you going to your backup. And basically, the Three of Swords reversed is healing or something that could make you feel better, about your situation. So it seems like it would be a move that could be an improvement. And just a minute, the Knight of Cups upright indicates that emotionally you'll be feeling a lot better doing that.
Well, I also think that too, that there's sort of this might have been something too that maybe you tried to do before and you weren't able to do it, and so you just maybe had to go back and forth with that a little bit. But I also feel too that maybe there's a connection with that backup plan, i.e. friends or mentors or people that you feel comfortable being with might work there or might have a connection that could help you get in there, something like that. So there's something familiar there. I'm not exactly sure if they work there, but there's some familiar part of that situation for you.
Let me draw a couple Lenormand and see if it gives any advice. Oh, don't let her do this. You're right there. I'm shuffling.
Well, she was pretty quick with that.
I know, but and now she's on my cards with her butt.
We don't know, Wild Fae.
And I'm afraid we won't be able to tell you today. I apologize, but this is our last reading right now we're doing. We usually sign off at 4 p.m. and we're running into a little overtime.
Yeah, we're actually running into overtime. So we appreciate you dropping in, but we're on our last reading.
But advice to everybody, the early bird gets the worm. The earlier you get to the live stream, the more likely we're going to be able to take your questions. So I do apologize, and we do what we can. So maybe next time, Wild Fae, and thank you for stopping in.
Thank you. It's kind of funny, January Girl, because I sort of felt like I was getting the idea about
thank you, Wild Fae.
Learning or retraining with the first one, not the backup. So I'm just wondering if maybe I missed signals with that too, but I do sort of feel that way too. And maybe that's what the King of Cups represents too, is that there is a process of moving into something too. So what that would say is that hopefully you would really love that, because that's what that's about. It's sort of loving what you're going into. What do you got?
I have the cross in the Lenormand, and I also have the fish. And I drew the cross first, and the fish is, what it's saying to me is basically the cross is often about endings and grieving and loss. And I feel like something has been, like the financial card is here, the fish is about flow. And so I think what it's saying is you have to make a move here. Something has to come to an end, and you have to make a move in order for conditions to improve. That's really the gut feeling I'm getting from this. So I want you to think about that, as you decide what you're going to do. I realize that, nothing's ever easy, and this might be a tough choice, especially if, as you say, the second option is going to mean some learning is involved. But I almost think that this might be the better option for you.
I think that's what it means too, is that this is more like an ending, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, an ending, it's grief and loss. I mean, you may feel bad about having to let something go, something that maybe you've spent a lot of time at doing, but something has to give.
Yeah, I think that this is what it represents too, is that although there's some amount of similarity or common cause between them, you are moving towards the second option.
I'm really thinking it's leaning towards starting over, but that this might end up being better for you in the long term. But ultimately, you have to make that decision and think about what you've heard here and maybe what you need to consider from here. I mean, maybe this will make you think about, well, what do I need to do to ensure I'm happy at option one, if that's what you're really committed to. So maybe this is just going to make you think better, harder on both of these options now and what is in truly your best interest. I hope that helped you, January girl. We're at the end of the day, and so I don't want to say we're overtired, but that could be it. But I think
it just doesn't look like a real easy situation.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
And a lot of it is involving healing yourself as well as moving ahead in the best direction for yourself.
And I do think that Eight of Swords reversed in that first option is indicating to me your confusion. Your inability to make a move. You're not sure what you really want to do yet. But I do feel that had some more negativity attached to it, that option, than the other option did. So I really think we have to leave it with you.
Thank you very much for that.
You are very welcome. And we're looking forward to Thursday night when we can read for you all again. So this is us signing off. Take care till next time and have a good week.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.